When it comes to selling final expense remotely, you know, telesales, there is nothing as enticing as the idea of working 100% inbound leads where the customer sees a TV commercial about how important it is to have the final expense life insurance, and then they pick up the phone and they call the 800 number that they're seeing on their TV screen, and then you, the agent, answers the phone. And guys, I've said for years that these are really about as high of an intent a lead as you can humanly get. You know, pretty much the best lead. However, now that the cost of this type of lead has basically doubled over the past several years, is it still worth it? I mean, I hate to say it, guys, but these leads are going for over 80 bucks a pop. That's messed up. And companies like mine are getting the customers to set an appointment on our agent's calendar for like $20 or less. I mean, that's pretty sweet, right? And that's after they fill out the lead form and then they actually see the agent's photo, the specific agent who's going to be calling them. So today, we're going to be going over the return on investment. I'll even talk about closing percentages for this type of lead and who should absolutely avoid TV leads like altogether. And of course, this is when I'm going to ask, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're putting out insurance sales content and final expense sales training videos just like this, like all the time. Stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the free new agent telesales file and a copy of the telescript presentation, just in case you decide you want to try to sell final expense over the phone on your own. No need for a long-winded build-up. I'm just going to say it. No, I do not believe that TV leads are the best lead for selling final expense insurance remotely, and it's not just because of the cost. Let me explain. With a live inbound TV commercial lead, you, the agent, logs into the CRM and basically tells the system that you're ready for calls. You put your headset on and you hang around and wait until the first one comes in. And sometimes you wait and then you're doing something else and finally a lead comes in and you answer, right? So some days you could get in like a bunch, other days you could literally be waiting around for hours. So it's really hard to be productive when you're waiting around, you know, for the phone to ring, so to speak. And then there's the closing ratio and return on investment. I mean, if you're not a talented closer who has the answer to like everything and any objection that could be thrown your way, you might only sell, I want to say, maybe 1 out of 4 if you're pretty good, potentially 1 out of 5 or less, which means you could end up spending like $300 to $400 for every single sale that you make. In my mind, of course, you know, my opinion is that this just doesn't work unless you are a top producing closer and can close more like 1 out of 3 of your leads. Now, let's talk about a calendar appointment system, which in my opinion is 100% the best way to go for remote final expense sales. And I'm also going to address the return on investment that we're seeing even with like average agents, along with the costs and exactly how this type of a system works. With your typical internet like TikTok, Google, or Facebook lead, the prospect sees an ad that gets their attention and then they fill out a lead form. Now you, the agent, have your lead. With a highly effective calendar appointment system like what we do for our agents, the client fills out the lead form and then like almost half, like I would say probably at least 40% of those people either set an appointment to speak with you or they hit the call now button. Once they've filled out the lead form, you, the agent's photo pops up and a big call now button shows up, and in big print, you know, it says something like, you know, set an appointment now for quicker service. 2 of the reasons that this is the best type of lead system, and that's what it is for remote final expense sales, is, well, A, the return on investment, and B, the fact that you control the activity level. So in other words, it's not like you're just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. That's kind of a fail. And to me, this system that we use is proactive, and that's what most people are doing, because you're calling the appointments, you're working the leads of the people who didn't set the appointment between each appointment, and you're just basically doing what you're supposed to do, smiling and dialing. So take a look at this calendar. If your system is working half as good as mine does, you can get like 10 or even 20 plus appointments per day on average, along with like a bunch of inbound calls every week. And I'm gonna get into the negative aspects of a system like this in a minute, but just hang on there. Bear with me real quick. As far as closing percentages for a top producer versus an average, like I want to say middle of the road agent, with TV leads, keep in mind, just because the client calls in and you get on the phone with them, that doesn't mean that you'll make a full presentation, right? I mean, our clientele tend to get buyer's remorse before you even get into your sales presentation. So like with the calendar appointment system, it's the same. A lot of them will set an appointment, confirm the appointment through like a text message, and then ghost you. The key is to effectively dial and work through those leads and appointments, and as long as you've got a good work ethic, you know, we've got to assume that's there. Don't let me get into that. As long as you do have the work ethic, even if you're a middle of the road closure, you're like mediocre, the return on investment should be a lot less than what it would be for working TV leads. There is no reason for you to close less than, I want to say 25%, 1 out of 4 presentations, which means that each sale costs the average agent a little more than like $200 or so. Potentially more like $100 if you're good. You know, again, if you're a closer and are talented at the art of the sale, potentially even better than that. Our top guys are closing around half of their presentations, so their cost per sale is definitely under $200. If these numbers all seem really high and alarming, well, that's probably because of 2 reasons. 1, I'm not lying or trying to manipulate people like what, you know, your typical recruiter or agency owners are getting away with. The second reason those numbers might seem high is because we're basically buying money and or sales for convenience. And here's what I mean by that. I'm spending a certain amount of money in order to make a certain amount of sales, which in turn equals a certain amount of profit. So an average agent on a calendar appointment platform, a good one, I mean, I hate to say it, most of them are the cost is a lot more, but let's say a good one like ours. Really, you know, these agents on these calendar platforms should be spending between, I want to say $1,000 and maybe $1,500 weekly in order to work, you know, really hard and turn that into at least, you know, I want to say $2,000 profit each week. Meanwhile, your talented producer who expects to earn a lot more might take, not exaggerating, $2,500 or $3,000 every week and turn that into like a $4,000 to $5,000 profit each week, which is, you know, why the top agents generally earn like 200 grand or even potentially more than $300,000 each. You know, and we're talking all net profit and after lead costs too. And the convenience part is that they're doing this without driving all over the place, without, you know, destroying their car, without getting stuck doing overnighters in crappy hotels, which is what I had to do back when I was a top producing final expense agent. Warning, I need to end with a very important comment. Before you go out and buy one of these calendar appointment systems, you need to understand that these things have a lot of moving parts, are pretty darn complicated to run and manage for most of us, you know, most normal people. Personally, and I'm speaking for myself, I know I don't have the capacity to do this, which is why we've got a team that takes care of this for us. We've also figured out specific ways to use artificial intelligence to, without a better word, fool the Google algorithm so that our ads are being placed in front of buyers before most of our competitors and the independent agent ads that are doing these type of things themselves are getting. So we're getting our ads in front of your clients first. And in most cases, if you try to do this yourself, you'll be lucky to get one set appointment for, I want to say, every 10 leads that come in, which isn't good. For a copy of the Final Expense Telesales file, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like more information on working with us and having access to our calendar appointments platform, whether you're wanting to do this as an independent agent or you want to work our free/subsidized leads platform, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get up and get out there, and whatever you do, make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.